The chatter is screaming now, and I continue to hear from bankers to watch for it between July 4th to the 8th. Iraq has been very clear that they are moving toward that direction. I can't imagine they would keep all that security stationed at ATMs around the country for long. I look for something to happen sooner rather than later. What sense would it make for Iraq to join, at a program rate, the WTO? It makes no sense. The Vietnamese dong it's in the WTO, but they are totally different. They deal with China and they have undervalued currency. Vietnam is a totally different scenario. Going into the WTO at a program rate is ridiculous. Everything is waiting for the new exchange rate, so everything will make sense. Iraq's working party on the accession of Iraq to WTO is July 18, 10 a.m. I think we're waiting for a precursor to that. But obviously they're going to have accession. When that exactly happens, on what day, is to be determined. They have things that have to happen prior to that. I understand why people are frustrated. The dinar itself is not a scam, but people do use the dinar to commit scams. The European Union announced. The Iraqi government has achieved development in international investment. There was a signing of the Singapore Convention on Mediation. Parliamentary law challenges the 2024 budget tables and the federal government is waiting for an answer within 15 days. Quote, the appeal was submitted on the pretext that the numbers mentioned in the budget items will change, and thus this is considered a change to the law and requires the implementation of a new law with a first and second reading, and final approval. What does the coming period mean in Iraq time? It means in the near proximal future. It means within arm's reach. It means it's already happened, or they never would have telegraphed it the way they're doing now. That's just the way the Middle East is. Central Bank. Cancellation of paragraph 5d of the instructions and standards for circulation and replacement of banknotes, and the counting and sorting mechanisms. My Iraqi contacts say there was not a rate in the Gazette yesterday. They expected to see a rate posted there yesterday, but there was not one according to 3 sources on the ground there. They still expect to see the rate in the month of June, and we have a few days left. They're effectively stating to everybody that they're going international. They're giving a laundry list of all the things they've done, are doing, and in support of where they're headed. When we get to the point when things are very quiet, which they are, we know that we're close, and we know that this is about to go. How can Sadani say again today the dinar is worth more than the dollar, yet it's still 13.20? My bank guy says, simple. All these contracts and agreements with other countries is with dinar at a new rate which they are operating at without nobody else's knowledge. It has to be that, no other explanation. Dozens of Iraqi companies participate in an investment summit in America. In the past years, I said, what is the US waiting for? Why have they not yet invested the US companies in Iraq? There is billions to make over there. Well, the spigot had to be opened first, and now it's opened. The spigot analogy means that the sanctions are over, war reparations paid, and now they can do business easily with the rest of the world. But as you know, with Iraq nothing happens overnight, and so it took a year and a half to open the spigot, but now it's opened up wide. A report by the American website War on Iraq, which specializes in political affairs, confirmed that the previous visit of Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani to Washington was in search of partnership and not the removal of the American military presence from the country. The report, translated by the Maluma agency, stated, the Sudanese came to Washington looking for a new type of partnership with the United States, and from Baghdad's point of view, the relationship with the United States has been greatly exaggerated in the security file. He added that Iraq, under the leadership of al-Sudani, wants to transform the relationship from a unilateral relationship to a comprehensive relationship, while Iraq realizes that oil and gas will be among its primary specialties for some time to come, as al-Sudani's visit to Houston to meet with energy companies there showed. He also realizes that he needs to use those revenues, or at least the small portion left afterward, as seed capital to diversify. There are many positive signs of economic development in Iraq, but further US-Iraq trade relations, especially outside the oil and gas industry and defense sales, are likely to progress slowly, without significant Iraqi concessions, and a dark cloud of corruption and lack of transparency always hangs over them, at least until Iraq takes serious steps on these issues, he said. The report noted that the United States is exerting pressure to prevent Iraq from being linked to the Iranian economy in general and from being granted access to dollars in particular. So how Iraq might be able to develop a non-oil economy while being isolated from its larger eastern neighbor, and Syria to the west as well, remains undetermined.